Welcome to Rockbridge Farmstead Podcast.
Stories from our homestead and yours.
One story at a time. Welcome back to another episode of the Rockbridge Farmstead Podcast. This is Greg.
And Marianne.
Hope you guys are doing well, enjoying this nice summer weather we got.
Even though it's not summer yet.
It feels like summer. It is hot.
It's cooled off today, but I think we've had rain, we've had thunderstorms on and off, so it's kind of heating up, cooling off, heating up, cooling off.
So I don't know about you guys, but we are super busy on our farm.
We said that last time.
I know. Well, it's just
though.
the busy time of year.
So we have been planting lots of things in the garden. Pretty much everything is planted. I have a couple things still that I need to find a spot for, but overall everything is growing and doing well. Greg has some spicy peppers that he wanted me to plant, so those got their own designated area. And when I say spicy,
yeah, they're ghost peppers.
yeah, and you have some habaneros, and there's one that's like a yellow Scotch bonnet or something interesting like that. And then we have the KS Lemon Starburst as well. So
from Dave, yeah.
Lots of spicy peppers and our normal cayenne, jalapeno, bell peppers. Those are in the garden themselves. Those won't be too spicy.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is, but I've always heard, like, if you plant peppers close, like if you have really hot peppers, like the hot will transfer over to the other ones.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is either.
I don't know. I didn't want to take the chance.
We didn't want to find out.
So garden stuff is going crazy. Marianne has just been working nonstop. I'm not much of the gardening person, but I try to help out as much as I can. I do haul a lot of mulch. So the other change that we've made in the last couple of weeks, we got rid of our geese and ducks. They just weren't really a good fit for us. That was kind of what it came down to. We try to make everything as simplified and as streamlined as possible, mostly because I work off farm. We don't have a lot of time in the evenings. This time of year, beekeeping takes up pretty much all of our available time. Yeah. And the geese and the ducks just kind of didn't fit what we were doing.
We don't have a pond.
We don't have water, so we were filling up kiddie pools. Within like a day, the kiddie pool was nasty, and you'd have to dump it and refill it. And we don't have water out where they were at, so it was dragging the hose, dragging it back. It was just too much work for.
And the geese were kind of aggressive, in my opinion. And they were being aggressive toward the hens, the chickens. So we like having chickens. We like having eggs from chickens. So we're just going to stick with those. And we do have one rogue duck.
Yeah, so the ducks, we had 3 female ducks, and they would fly out and just kind of go wherever they wanted during the day and then fly back in, which we were fine with. Like, the ducks really, honestly, probably weren't the problem. It was more of the geese. But then when we got rid of them, we went to go cage them all up because someone was coming to pick them up, and we could only find 2 female ducks. So
we looked everywhere.
Yeah, we looked, did no idea where this duck was. And then Marianne was like, well, I haven't seen it for
a couple days.
Yeah, so maybe it got eaten or something. We've had some hawks flying around.
Or flew away. Like, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, and lo and behold, we went out later that night to, check on everything and feed for the evening, and there was the duck. Flew right in, got some food, and so we got one rogue female duck. Which,
Mossy. That's what the kids named her. So
Mossy?
Mossy, like moss.
Yeah, you guys make mistakes by naming all of our
animals.
The
duck is going to stick around, let's be honest. She's just kind of here. She's just our rogue mascot duck that miraculously appeared after her other family members left, which was just funny to me. That she knew, it's like she knew something was going on, so she made herself scarce and then reappeared. So there's much more tranquility and peace back there. No loud honking from the geese. I am very happy about that.
Yeah. I'm glad that I don't have to fill that kiddie pool nonstop. So like we said, we're just really busy. A lot of it has to do with beekeeping. We came out of the winter with 7 hives. And now I'm up to about 30-ish queen right colonies. So it's just been nonstop beekeeping, keeping an eye on everything. It's swarm season right now, so
Yeah.
trying to keep all the boxes kind of equalized where my bees aren't going to fly off. I think I may have lost a swarm or two, but there's only so much you can do with the time that you're given.
You have one hive that's particularly swarmy.
I get them every week, and I just find tons of swarm cells.
They're
So
ready to split.
yeah, the queen is there. So like I've just been pulling swarm cells with a frame or two, and putting them in nuke boxes and letting them kind of build back up. So it's probably not a good trait to keep generating, but
It's okay. It's not the worst thing.
yeah, exactly. So building a lot more equipment. I bought a lot of equipment this winter and built a lot of it, but I only built so much that I thought I was going to need. So we're getting to the point where I got to start building a little bit, which is manageable. It's super manageable. The big change that I'm making is until this point we've done completely foundationless beekeeping. So take a frame, I would use a paint stir stick, put it in the top, let them draw all their comb. So if they need a drone comb, they built drone comb. Whatever they needed, they built themselves. It's definitely doable, but we're getting to the point where just the size of everything that we have, it's too much. They build a lot of wonky comb. It takes probably twice as long to go through and do an inspection because they don't build everything as equal as they can. Some of that is probably my fault because the hives, I have them as level as I can get them, but we don't have a ton of flat property. So it is what it is. So we are moving to foundation, switching everything over to that, which is really stinking kind of expensive. Foundation is not cheap. So we're just kind of doing that little by little. We'll probably still, I have several hundred frames with the paint stir sticks in, so we'll probably still use them to some degree, but we are making that transition over into foundation. The other thing is we've made all these splits, and where are we going to put them? So, I was going up to the bee yard, and I was just going to like do general inspection, and I'm like, oh crap, I need some more boxes. So like every inspection, I was coming out with like 2 or 3 like nucs, and they just kind of got put into the front yard, which I don't really want them in the front yard, but it's a
They're
level
away enough
spot.
from the house.
Yeah, they're away
They're
from the
not right in front
house.
of the house.
I personally just don't really like them being super visible. That's my big thing. So now we have, like I said, 30-ish hives. A bunch of them are in the front yard. So I put out a call on one of our local, it was a Kentucky gardening group on Facebook. And I was like, hey, we're beekeepers. We have some hives. Anyone looking for maybe putting some hives on your property? And I got a lot of good responses. We made a couple contacts. One person in particular, Ashley. I mean, she was great. We went out, looked at her property, met her, spent the evening. They are building, just talking. They're building a house. Very interested in being like kind of self-reliant, homesteadish. So it was just like almost like an instant friendship. So
yeah, it was really nice to meet her, and we are going to be taking the stuff to build some stands and then take some bees to her property.
Yep. So hopefully we're gonna put 10 hives out there. She is kind of far out, so and there's tons of forage around, so it'll be a great fit.
Yeah, the locust was blooming, and that was really neat to see. And she's got ponds, and there's all kinds of stuff for them to enjoy out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So we will be having our very first out yard. I think we're moving them there next weekend is the plan. We were going to do it this weekend, but it was kind of rainy, and I'm actually on call for work. So I don't like to get too involved in any big projects because I could get a phone call at any time and have to go who knows where. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
And a funny story, well, not really funny, but amusing, I guess. We kept hearing this like noise, rattling kind of noise coming from our washer and dryer area. in the house. Our washer and dryer in our kitchen, that's just the way that it was when we moved here. And so Greg thought maybe it sounded like it was kind of coming from like the water at first in the wall.
Yeah, it sounded almost like gurgling.
Yeah.
Like the pump maybe was like trying to pump water out or something of the washer.
It was strange. And then he left for work, and later I started hearing a more distinct sound coming from like the flexible dryer duct vent. And definitely a bird. There was a bird in there. And I don't really know, I didn't know what to do, so I guess it just was in there. And at the end of the dryer, outside, where it vents out, the little cap that was on it was off. So I'm assuming that the bird flew in and got stuck and couldn't get out. So we think that it got back out.
Yeah, like I took everything apart and I didn't see it. The pipe that goes to the outside is in the crawl space and it's a pretty tight spot.
It's a pain in the butt to deal with.
But I mean, everything that I could see, I don't think there's a bird.
So
in
the
there.
bird has evacuated and all is well. But those are the kinds of things that happen because we were in the middle of doing other projects that we needed to get done. And it was like, well, we have to address this because there's a bird in the dryer vent.
Yeah.
So sometimes those kinds of things happen. We're probably going to pull up our carpet in our living room. That's a project. So aside from homesteading things and your normal, washing dishes, cooking, doing all the stuff that you normally do, we also have little projects that pop up, which I'm sure all of you do too, that just kind of take up extra time.
Yeah, we were talking about pulling up carpet. So when we bought our house, it was a foreclosure. They came in, they put carpet over the hardwood floors.
The cheapest possible.
And with kids, it's all gotten kind of stained up. So we've been talking about pulling it up, just cleaning up the hardwood floors, even though they may not look the best.
Maybe get an area rug.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know.
Well, we also have a little 3-year-old homestead princess that just dumped pink fingernail polish all over the carpet. Like 5 minutes ago. So
that was the nail in the coffin for the carpet. It was like,
So I went to the corner of the carpet and just pulled it up. I was like, how hard is this going to be? And it doesn't look that bad. So I think we're going to pull up carpet today.
Woohoo.
Which is a nice rainy day. We can't really do a ton outside, so it's a good day for it. The other thing that happened this week is I got my Jeep fixed.
Yay.
So I have a Jeep. It has been our farm vehicle for the last 5, 6, 7 years. 4-wheel drive Jeep Cherokee. But it does break down quite a bit. And I have fought with it. Just fixing. It's gotten to the point where, because, homesteading, we want to be as self-reliable as possible. We want to be able to do things ourselves. I'm pretty mechanically inclined. Like, I can fix
mechanically inclined.
a lot of things. I've dropped the axles on it. I've done a lot of stuff. But it got to the point where, I didn't really know what was wrong with it. I had an idea, but I didn't really have the time. Because it's like I could invest, 10, 15, 16 hours in trying to fix it, figure out what's going on. Or I could just take it somewhere and get it fixed.
And they did it pretty fast.
Yeah. And these are just good old boys in town. Got it to the shop. And they were like, well, we'll probably take a look at it tomorrow. I got a call like the next day in the afternoon. And it's done. We got it fixed. And told me how much it was going to be. And it was like, that was so worth it.
Yeah.
Like, so worth it. Because your time is valuable. I mean, it really is. If it wasn't the busy season and I had it in my building, I could probably work on it. But it was worth the expense to get it done.
It's also nice to make those connections locally so that if you do have an issue, you know who to take it to. So
Exactly.
that you have people that you can trust and that you can take things to. So there's value in that too. There's value in making new friends and meeting new people in the community. And it's good for their business too. I mean, they need business just as much as everyone else does. So
today we're going to actually talk to Josh and Mary from Beesandbirddogs on Instagram. They have started beekeeping kind of creating I would say, small scale commercial apiary.
Yeah, they
Probably
have a lot
not
going
what you
on.
would see in your backyard. This is kind of a little bit higher than that. So the other thing I want to just point out about this episode, it is very bee heavy. Like that's what we talk about a lot. We recorded this back in the middle of March because we kind of did a lot of recording
Plan
in the
ahead.
slow season because we know summer is
Yep.
busy. So middle of March, I think it was like the 13th or the 15th is when we recorded this, and that was when their beekeeping season had just kicked off. And beekeeping is different than most other agricultural things. You know, if you have cows or sheep or goats, chickens, you're seeing them out there all year round,
Mm-hmm.
going out feeding, taking care of them. Beekeeping, we put our bees to bed around October, and then we don't really touch them or see them again until,
March.
yeah. So this was right when the beekeeping season started. We were super geeked about bees because that's just how beekeepers
Beekeep.
are.
Yeah.
So it's very beekeeping heavy. There's a lot of things that we kind of talk about that maybe we don't explain very well. But if you guys have any questions about beekeeping, any
We're
questions
an
about
open
what we
book.
talk about, I'm sure you could reach out to Josh and Mary. You could reach out to us. We will answer all of your beekeeping questions because I could talk about bees to anyone for any amount of time.
For a long time. And he doesn't like to talk, so that's saying something.
Yeah. So here we go with Josh and Mary from Bees and Bird Dogs. All right. So tonight we have Mary and Josh from Bees and Bird Dogs. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Oh, we're doing great. Doing great. Excited to talk. Excited to talk.
Yeah.
So Bees and Bird Dogs, that is an interesting combo. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about it?
How far back do you want to start?
As far back as you want
Yeah,
to
as far
go.
back as you want.
For the bees or the dogs?
So probably start with the dogs. The dogs came first.
Yes, I
Okay.
mean, like, the dogs. We grew up bird hunting as a kid. And,
Yeah.
it was turned into a bad habit. And eventually turned into a career.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where. I mean, I could go into much more details.
So
That's kind
in a
of long
nutshell,
story short.
he's a bird hunting guide, and
So
more about him.
like nowadays, what I do is we keep a brace. We really keep like 3 braces of bird dogs, which is about 10 or 12 dogs.
Oh,
And
wow.
we have braces of them.
And these are your personal dogs, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They used to not be, but they are now.
Mhm.
There used to be 12 owned by the members, but that's all different now. But I mean, we raise dogs for my job, and I handle dogs on a plantation down in South Carolina. It's a quail hunting plantation, all horseback. It's
Oh, wow.
great.
That's amazing.
68,000 acres. And
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's
Wait, did you
that's a
say
big part of it.
68,000?
Just a little bit of property. No big deal.
yeah.
We start with that in August, and we take bird dogs from the public and train them, puppies and things like that.
That's
our own
amazing.
puppies. And then in October, I leave for 4 to 5 weeks in October with a truckload of dogs and go up north and fly clients in to hunt with their dogs. And
Where do you go up north?
to the UP.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
my boss, he's a big bird hunter, and he goes up to the UP every year to go hunting.
Yeah, my family has a cabin it's not in the UP, it's just in northern Michigan. So
It's funny. People are connected to the UP. Like I've been going up there since
Probably
20
almost 20 years now.
Yeah, 20 something.
Yeah, every October.
So and then I come home and handle dogs for the plantation and intermittently go out west, to
that's
quail
Yeah.
hunt on my
that's
own.
nice.
That almost sounds like it's like a dream job.
Yeah. Well,
It is,
and,
yeah.
and prior to that becoming a job, I owned a construction company. So it's been a transition into the bees over the course of watching that fade away. It's hard to do. We was remodeling homes and
Mm-hmm.
that nature of things. And you can imagine 6 months on, 6 months off.
Wow.
Right.
I don't want to say it fell apart, but it just turned into something I didn't enjoy where you were some way out. I thought
Yeah.
about cats I was asking neighbors, what about
Any way to get out of it. Yeah.
And like we have a little tobacco pond down below the house, and we gave away a swarm that year. And as a kid too, my neighbor, he always kept bees and would find swarms and he'd come get them. So there was kind of some background into that. But the following year, after we gave the swarm to our neighbor, we were like, let's catch them.
That was that same year.
Well, maybe the same year.
A few months later,
we decided we would catch them, and it was like fishing. It was super addictive.
Yeah.
I mean,
we put swarm traps up and, in the corners of the property, and just, all of a sudden we saw bees coming in, and I was like, are there bees in there?
Yeah, and it was in no time.
It was crazy.
But there was some background too that I'd done
probably a
year of YouTube and prior to all of that before we even started catching. So, but and then that's kind of how the bees unfolded.
Yeah. And how long ago was that?
That was like 3 years ago.
This is our third year.
Oh wow.
Year. So we're building. Keep telling Mary we're on a 4-year plan.
Yeah, that's great.
4 year to start, really getting some momentum.
Yeah.
4 years to be really busy.
Yeah. So it works out because the hunting season kind of ends when the bee season starts.
Yeah, that is perfect.
Like, it's good for him because, when he gets back and done with all that, then we can jump in the bees. And so
does everyone
there's no break.
Bees have cats?
We have an outside cat.
This cat she's always in our business. So
that's cute.
She has no personal space.
Every YouTube video I've ever seen,
there's a cat walking around.
Interesting.
Yeah, we keep them outside, just keep snakes and mice kind of.
Yeah, he's not a barn cat, he's a farm cat.
That's the plan for this one as soon as possible.
Yeah. So you started your beekeeping 3 years ago, and then how many hives did you have your first year?
21.
Oh wow. So you just jumped right in.
Towards the end of the year.
Yeah, by the end of the year. We had
still
split down.
Yeah. We caught a ton. And did you buy a box from somebody?
Yeah, one from King.
Yeah. And we're still splitting that.
No, they died out.
Oh, just kidding.
It's hard to keep track.
Yeah.
That was the one today, right?
No, that's
okay. Oh.
There's a lot going on, so it's okay.
I know.
We had 2 cold days of weather, and we had two hives just hanging on, and it knocked them out. But they were still alive when we came across them.
Yeah.
The queens were still alive in the box.
They were just slowly moving.
So we experimented. We gave a 2-frame nuke to a queen and gave them a couple cups of bees.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if that's worth.
We're gonna try and salvage them.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's worth trying and see what happens.
Yeah.
There's little to lose.
Walking around. Yeah. I felt we should try something. We had the resources, so
curiosity.
Yeah.
So you guys
may not have been worth it.
So you ended your first year with 21, and then were those bought or most of them just caught?
Oh, caught. We caught 19 and we split 1 or 2, and then we bought 1. So,
wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
it was like from 0 to 100. Like, I mean,
maybe 1,000.
The beginning, like I didn't even know what even was going on because I had no clue about bees.
Like last year, if you included all of our 3-way mating nukes and our nukes and everything, we were near 100, I guess, or at 100 until we can, at the end of the year, we consolidate the 3-way.
I thought he was crazy. He was like, well, I want to maybe try and have 60 next year. And I was like, 60? And we had basically already were on our way there. And I was like, there's no way we can have 60. This was like 2 years ago. And then now here we are, and we're like, we want more.
Yeah.
But one for the honey end of things is so expensive, extractors and just all the equipment, all that kind of things. Has been a whole.
Yeah,
it's like going to be a year of dealing with that before we can build back up to it. Maybe if we're lucky at the end of this year, we can start putting bees on pallets. But that's if that doesn't happen at the end of this year, end of the summer, it'll happen next spring for sure.
Yeah. So are all of them on your property now, or do you have out yards?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah, we have right now we have 50 in one location, and I have another yard that's going to be the pallet. We're going to have everything palletized. Hope to at least be able to put 100 there.
Yeah.
And then fill it, kind of fill it out.
Yeah.
Whether or not we put more or not.
So what would you say is like the eventual goal? Like, are you trying to turn this into a business?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Definitely.
not, I'll have to find something else to do.
He's put so much money into it, it's like, gosh, we really want it to work too.
It's enjoyable.
Passionate,
Yeah.
about it too.
I have a bad habit of turning hobbies into jobs. So
I just have a bad habit of getting a lot of hobbies.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and he can't just like do something halfway. He has to do it like full force.
Man,
So.
I know all about that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was when we first got married. I really wanted a moped, but not like the new ones,
scooters.
not a scooter. Like I wanted a pedal style moped.
1970s pedal style.
So
moped,
like
yeah.
I got one at the beginning of the summer, and by the second year of marriage, I had 12.
Oh gosh.
He built. I mean, he rebuilt them all.
Yeah, and
so
like
he
they
was,
were all
flipping
like,
them,
like I had one that went like 56 miles an hour,
which is pretty fast for a moped.
Yeah, it was
Oh
awesome.
gosh.
It was
And
so
then
much
once
fun.
he bought a motorcycle in totes, so he put that all together, rewired it, all that. I mean, and I'm like, what are you
That was
doing?
probably enjoyable for you to do that. And
Yeah. So
he loved it.
Go all out.
Yeah. So yeah, I find hobbies and I kind of really dive in pretty hard.
Yeah.
That's what he does too.
Yeah. And that's what, before we got bees, like I spent a year like every book I could find, every podcast,
everything.
I'm not a huge YouTube person because like I just don't feel like I have the time to sit around and watch a lot of stuff. Like I'll use YouTube if I have a question about something and I can search real fast.
That is helpful.
But
there are people you like on YouTube that you watch too.
Like YouTube, you can fast forward the videos too, and
get to the point.
Super. Well, no, not
fast forward, but playing faster.
Like
that is nice.
Play speed.
Yeah.
And increase the play speed and really cook through some of them.
Oh, I've never thought about that. I do that with audiobooks.
Yeah, he does that with audiobooks. Like, how does your brain absorb that? I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm usually half asleep by the time we get the kids down and like actually can sit down and turn on the TV. So I'm just zoning out at that point. But
same here.
I did learn a little bit when he was watching those videos.
Yeah, it's fun.
So do the kids help out a lot with the bees?
The first year they did more, and then this year they're just not into it as much. They keep saying the bee suit's like too itchy or something. So I'm going to see if I can figure out either to just wash it really good or maybe get them a new one. I don't know, because I really want them to be more involved because they enjoy it when they're out there. It's just like getting to get motivated.
What about your kids?
Yeah, so we have a 3 and a 5-year-old, and they love it for the amount of attention that they can put into it.
I was gonna say yesterday when we were doing inspections, we were in like hour 1, they were doing okay. Once we were in hour 2, they were like rolling down the hill and throwing walnuts from the walnut tree, taking off their stuff, and I'm like, all right, guys, how about you go play on the back porch? I can still see you.
Right.
If you need anything, just come back up here.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's
hard. I know. You have
to do the best you can.
I feel like I have to have one eye on the bees and like one eye on what they're doing over there. And I can't focus 100%. And he's trying to ask me to do stuff. And I'm like, squirrel.
That's how yesterday was. It's like, can you go get another bucket? Oh, we need to go get some more frames. Oh, we need to switch. And I'm like, okay. And ours is up on a hill. So you have to walk all the way down the hill and then back up the hill. So
like, what did I come here for?
Our stuff's on the top floor of the barn. At the moment, it's a
ladder. Really... We have to climb a ladder.
Oh, no.
Come down a ladder with a big box
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not
Full
easy.
frames. If that's really, I'm surprised I haven't fallen yet. I have hit my head a couple times. That's it. That's. I mean, you have to like climb up there and like hold on to the rafters like as you're getting up there. It's pretty comfortable. The neighbors are laughing at us.
But yeah, our kids do pretty well. Our 5-year-old, he is getting a lot better, and I'm kind of bribing him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, he's been wanting a pocket knife for probably a year and a half now. So last summer I got him, like, it was a pocket knife, but it was completely dull. I mean, it was just a chunk of metal in the shape of a knife,
and it folded
in and out. And so like he would practice with it, and I told him, keep getting better, we'll get you a good knife. So I got him a better knife this year, which actually has a sharp blade, but it has a blunt
rounded end.
But like it's sharp, like he will cut himself with it. And I'm like, he's 5, like I don't know about this. But we're also buying some liquid bandage along with it.
Oh yeah.
So. They have Quick Clot too.
So we've been having conversations every day about becoming responsible, doing work around the house. Once I know you're responsible, you can get your knife. It's setting right up on our mantle so he can see it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So like every day, like today we set up like our little nuke yard, and he was carrying boxes out and setting them up and color coding the lids and the bottoms. And
that's nice.
Papa, I'm getting responsible, Papa. I'm getting responsible.
We need to do that for ours. Just give them little tasks, like our 7-year-old's really good at organizing, so maybe we could get her to organize stuff.
Yeah, I feel like they do better at small, like do this little thing that will take you maybe 20 minutes or so, and then we'll go from there. I feel like that's helpful.
Do you homeschool the kids?
Yeah.
How about you guys?
They go to school. They go.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's a lot of times when they're at school is when we get most of the stuff done. So that's really, really nice.
Yeah, and you also work off the farm too, right? You're a nurse.
I'm a nurse, and I work 12-hour shifts 3 days a week.
Okay.
So when I'm working, I can't do anything. So days off is when I'm kind of catching up on everything else and normally doing bee stuff when the weather's good. So
so that's a lot to juggle. I mean, working, you both have other things that you do for work as well, plus all of the only 60 hives to manage. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Definitely very time consuming.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I feel, we're doing what we really like to do. So it's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
So.
If you would like to be on the podcast, if you're a homesteader or have a farm business and you're interested in being on, we have a tab on our website, which is rockbridgefarmstead.com. The tab is podcast. And under that tab, you should see a spot to fill out a form that will let us know all about your homestead, and we'll get back to you.
So is the goal for either one of you guys to eventually quit what you're doing now and do more towards the bees? Or
I would love to like reduce my hours working for sure. Eventually, because I mean, I've been doing the same thing for 15 years now, so I'm kind of burnt out, sort of being in healthcare, but I still like taking care of people too at the same time. So that's
a hard thing to decide.
So, and then he can keep his job in the winter.
Well, mine's seasonal. It's it works. It meshes with the dogs.
That's really nice.
Occupy. We just maintain them this time of year. Season just ended last month, so and that's when our bee season kicks off. So it's
that sounds like a major blessing that you can find two things that you really like doing
together
that have different seasons.
It really does. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing that synced too was, all of the bird cover that we plant here and bird patches. We do food plots for birds, and we planted native grass and wildflowers for birds. It was already done, and it just and then the bees came along.
Yeah.
It's just like it just
They
fit
just-
right
yeah,
in.
it's
Oh
just
wow,
Like
yeah, that is perfect.
it
Yeah.
already existed.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I saw that you also have, it looked like a pretty good sized garden too. So you have a garden and
Yeah, that one
They
was
took it.
huge, a lot bigger than.
They took my garden. I had to move my garden behind the pack house.
Yeah,
We have strawberries in the old garden location.
Yeah. How big is the original garden?
I don't know. It's probably like 80 feet by 40 feet, or like great big. But
And actually now that's basically almost all strawberries now,
yeah,
right?
it's all
Wow.
it's all.
So we
all but
put
one
another. He tilled another garden down.
We don't till
but
we do no till.
Yeah.
or we do
as much
cover.
as you can,
the
yeah.
word is
We field crimp our food plots, inner gardens, and plant cover
organized
crops.
the other garden area, where we'll do
Right.
like green beans and squash and
All the things you
tomato.
eat.
Our tomatoes will just grow anywhere around here. It seems
They
like
actually grow better out of the garden. than
Yeah.
they do in the garden.
like the compost tomatoes are always the ones that are the most
And the fence,
Plentiful.
we plant them down the fence line.
yeah
And it's not even it's just a mulch bed behind
and
the
they grow
the
so well
blueberries.
there.
Yeah.
And then we have blueberry tree. How many blueberry trees do we have? A bunch. Got at least 20 or 30, right?
That's a pretty
Down
good amount,
yeah.
across the
Yeah.
street. And then we have bunch of plum trees
Yeah,
that the bees are all over now, right? Or about to be.
the frost one, that's what I'm about.
Yeah, a lot of fruit trees.
Yeah.
You guys have native plums in Kentucky, like Chickasaw plums?
I'm not
They're like
really
little-
sure.
Small.
See, we planted it for bird cover, and you wouldn't believe the bees work.
They love it.
It must have an endless flow of nectar. I mean, it's insane.
That's
The
just
bees-
really, really cool. Like you said, that they all kind of go together, that you have that environment for the dogs, but then also for the bees too. And then you can have fruit. And
Yeah. I know. It's really awesome.
It's kind of all the little things.
yeah.
So how big did you say your strawberry patch is, or you have more than one?
40 by 60, and I think there's about 8 rows.
That's
Okay.
a lot of strawberries.
Yeah, that's a lot of
I know.
strawberries.
Well, we've got plans. Well, we had plans for the strawberry stand too.
Yeah.
That's
The
another.
girl, that was what girls
That was
kickstarted.
The kids'
that one.
Aw,
job.
that's
to
cool.
sell this, but they fizzled out about after a
Yeah.
day. They're like, it's too hot. But we sold out like every single day that we were out there.
That's
People-
amazing.
We just put it in front of our house. Like we live on, out in the country and, kind of a busy road because it's we're close to the highway. So everybody comes, drives by. So
Yeah, that's nice.
everybody that drove by, just about everybody would stop and they wanted strawberries. So it worked out. So then we were like, oh, next year we're going to do honey and we're going to cut some flowers and
Yeah.
we've got big plans for that. But
Little
we'll see.
farm stand. That's cool. And
Yeah.
it's nice for the kids, even if it's short lived for them, but it's nice for
Yeah.
them to participate and kind of learn about, the entrepreneurship and be a part of that. So
It'd be nice if you could do like an honor system thing, but I always get paranoid
Yeah.
about stuff like
about
that.
leaving
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. That'd be it'd be a load off, if you
Yeah.
especially had like people you trusted and handed out
Mhm.
keys,
Oh yeah.
You know what? I don't
Yeah.
know.
We live in a pretty nice town though. I mean,
Yeah, one of the bee companies south of here, they do that. They have it on the roadside. I don't know how they work their box, but it keeps it full of honey. And
Interesting.
Yeah, I've heard of people like for honey at least where they'll just have like a box somewhere on their property and like you
Yeah.
can call and order it and they'll just leave it there. But today
Oh,
with
that's-
like doing digital payments and everything, it's not that. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's
it's not
pretty
that
easy.
complicated.
yeah.
So have you guys harvested a lot of honey at this point?
no, not
Last
much.
year
I mean,
was the first year we did
Mhm.
honey.
I think we had 5 buckets.
5 gallon buckets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
probably about.
Yeah.
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 We didn't have an extractor yet at the time. So
Oh man, that's a lot of
somebody-
work.
Yeah.
We've got some friends that are commercial beekeepers here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Leaned on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were.
They were
nice to do
very
that.
they were real
Yeah.
helpful. We don't want to have to do it again
Yeah.
this year
Yeah.
because we'll have more, I think. So
So I'm guessing an extractor is in the plans.
We got an extractor last August, I think.
Yeah.
So we haven't even used it yet. So
Mhm.
we're right now, this is another project that is going to be finished soon. The honey room, which is in the basement of our tobacco barns.
Mhm.
So he has been hard at work doing all it literally was like dirt and a bunch of tobacco sticks. Like,
I think I remember seeing a picture of that.
Big barn. Yeah. And so we poured cement. You probably better telling what we did.
Yeah, plastered it, used made pool plaster for the walls and poured concrete. And tomorrow we're epoxying, we'll acid staining the floor.
Yeah.
And then we'll epoxy coat it and get a desk in there and get out of that room. I'm sick.
He's been working like every day. Electrical, all the outlets and the lights, and there's just like, and so we're excited about getting it, going.
Yeah,
just got to get done.
I wish I could have got it done over the winter, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going to be like your honey house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honey house / my office, I guess, sort of.
Yeah, your bottling.
My bottling room, my candle making room, maybe eventually. Got a lot of dreams in my head. So.
It's hard not to. I feel like that's kind of our issue. It's not lack of ideas. It's too many ideas.
Yeah. Eventually, I just down the road.
Nick them away.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere and just work on a couple things and.
Yeah.
Be flexible.
Flexible, yeah.
Yeah. See, our end game's still open. To whichever way it takes us. And that's how I kind of live my life. I guess that way. So
yeah. Yeah.
Continue that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems to be working out. So
seems to be doing well. So what's the next steps for you guys?
Well, this week or
for the bees, like just
maybe the bees.
So 7 days from now we'll have cap queen cells. So we'll 5 days, 6 days start building our queen mating nukes.
Okay.
And or they're queen castles actually, but we'll build them, drop the queen cells in there, and as soon as we have mated queens, we'll sell nukes. And the way we started, we started not with big boxes of bees, after kind of YouTubing and getting a feel for how things are done. We decided to go with nuke boxes in the beginning. So we raised everything in nukes. And even more convinced they build up quicker in nukes now than I was in the beginning. But anyway,
happier. They seem happy.
That would replenish our production colonies in whatever way that took us, I suppose. And then the mating system that would replenish the nukes, and other things as well. But so as soon as those queens come back mated, we'll sell nukes. They're sitting 3 deep right now. Our nukes are, so we'll knock one off for sale, plug in queen cells, and keep nicking them away. Hopefully get several rounds out of them. Out of one stack of nukes. That's what the idea is. This will be the first year we put it in that application.
Okay, so you run all 5 frames then?
Yeah, and that's the one thing. If I could go back and change, I would have gone probably like Michael Palmer runs a 4 frame. He calls it a particular brood factories.
A brood, yeah.
I think 4, and then you can plop 10s on them. If I could go back and change anything, I think the way we're doing things, that might have been more advantageous for us, because being able to put another box on and collect honey off of them.
Yeah, then you can do it all.
That and the additional warmth they get from sitting right next to another box, but of course you can slide 2 files together. But anyway, that's one thing I'd go back on.
I've seen those, and I've been really like, I don't know, because I was at a beekeeping store and I really liked the store, and he was telling me about it. He was like, well, that they share the warmth in the wintertime. And I was like, well, right outside you had a 5 frame nuke that was completely by itself and it didn't need the warmth and it did just fine. Like, I guess it maybe depends on the climate, but to me, when I see that, I'm just like, oh, that's more equipment. Like, that's just a different.
He's always trying to find a way to
make everything more simple.
Yeah.
I think that heat though, that would even build faster. Just on
Yeah.
account
Yeah,
of
that's true.
paired heat, things would just move a little quicker than normal. Same as being in a 5-frame nuke in the chimney. If you're going high with them, that heat all rises and supports every brood above. I think I mean, we haven't been doing it long, obviously, but in the short amount we've been doing it, it seemed to notice big.
Yeah.
It's like,
I bought 40 5-frame boxes this summer, so I think I want to try to overwinter a couple in those and see how they do. Right now I run all 8-frame mediums, so, and that was just what is that
zone, what zone are you guys in, do you know?
What zone?
6B.
6B. So you're similar to here.
We talked about overwintering, how our nukes had overwintered better than the 8-frames.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Started and kicked off. They just kicked off sooner. They fired off sooner.
And they came out of winter.
They were,
on fire,
ready to go.
Yeah.
They were making drones, a week and a half ahead of our larger boxes.
Yeah.
This is our. Haven't been doing it long, but it's a blanket thing.
Next year
you watch 30 nukes or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing ahead of.
Yeah.
So we had eight boxes going into winter last year, and right before it started getting fall time, I was doing some inspections, and you always get up there and you're like, oh, should I do this, should I do that? And I was like,
second guess.
So I just did it, and I just pushed them all down. I got them all into a single 8-frame medium, and
we were nervous about that.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'll do okay or not.
Yeah, I was terrified, but I was like, well, we'll see, because it was still early enough that I could combine if I needed to, and they all did great. Yesterday, there was still 2 or 3 frames of honey in the box.
Awesome.
So, and they're booming. I need to probably add
some more
soon. Yeah.
I'd like to think that the queen can manage her space accordingly, whether it be in a double deep or a single deep, whether a nuke or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That she manages that brood, and I assuming she's responsible for the quantity of brood being produced.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, but
but it is nice to see, like you were saying, where you see a pattern of something that's successful, that works, and then sticking with that. If it's working, then keep doing that and see if that continues to work well, which in your case it sounds like that is what's working well.
Yeah I was happy with how all the bees turned out after winter. I was a little nervous because we had a bad robbing situation last year.
Oh, no.
It was my fault, and he was in Michigan. And we had a bucket of
communication.
We had a bucket of sugar syrup that was just going to waste, that I was going to put out for the bees, and he told me to drive it down to the far end corner of the property, and I guess I didn't hear him say that.
And open the lid and let it get robbed out.
So I just put it not next to the hives, but
right beside the barn.
It's about 10, 20 feet
30
down.
yards.
Yeah, it was very, and then I walked out there an hour or two later, and there's so many bees on that bucket, and I look at all of our hives.
The neighbors are calling me, what's wrong with your wife?
She's running around like a crazy person. Yeah. So I looked at all of our hives, and it looks like there's just battle on all the hive entrances. All the bees are just fighting all these robber bees. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose all these hives. We're just going to lose them all. And they're not going to be, they're not going to make it through winter. And
this is the time of year.
It was the worst robbing time of year. The dearth, it was terrible.
And we had we consolidated our queens before I leave.
Everything was all set.
They're tucked in. They're fed. We feed early.
Everybody was
they were
tucked in for the winter, and now all this happened. So anyway, I was for 3. I think I even called out of work one day because I was so stressed out about it. I'm like, oh, bees are gonna die because of me.
We had gone through everything. Had queens. Everything had been fed up 3D, and everything was good. And so then she had to go through, tear everything down.
I had to go through every single one of those hives, but they all had queens except for one. One queen was getting bald, like as I like was going into the hive, and I didn't know what was going on. So anyway, it was a very crazy week, but ended up they were fine. I had fed them all. We have internal feeders in all the nucs, like 1 gallon, and so I went through and fed all them and did that for like 2 weeks, and then hopefully beefed them up a little bit. But I was nervous. Long story short, I was nervous about the robbing that these bees wouldn't make it, but they turned out really, really well. So,
well, she only lost 1 queen.
Yeah, they still only lost 1 out of all that, but I will never do that again.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the best way to learn something is by doing it, and then you'll never forget.
And he was like, "Why did you put the bucket there?" And I was like, "I was just trying to feed the bees." I told you to take it out.
That's hard. I could see myself being in that same situation where he would tell me something, and I would think that I was doing something to be helpful, and he'd be like, "Oh my gosh, why did you do that?"
Yeah, the complete opposite. Yeah, it was like it was the worst in my life.
It could happen to anybody, but it seems like ultimately your bees were strong and they pulled through. So that's what counts.
Yes. That was when I used all those Legos. I went upstairs to the kids' playroom and grabbed the bucket of Legos because I couldn't find the entrance reducers because they were up in the barn somewhere. I don't know where they were.
Yeah, they were in the hive.
Well, they needed to be reduced even further. So I had to I made Legos as the doors.
Reducers don't have the 1 inch slot.
Oh gosh,
so 4 inches.
I put Legos on every single.
That's smart.
So like there was just a teeny tiny spot. So anyway,
that's a great way to use what you have to make it work.
I know. I'll never look at Legos.
Did you say sprinkler?
Oh yeah, I did the sprinkler. I like sprayed them. I had the hose and I was like spraying the robber bees like off. It was crazy. The neighbors really probably think that we are crazy.
A month later, people were still coming up to me. What are your wife doing?
They were not. They're probably not surprised at this point. Anyway.
That's funny. That was good thinking with the Legos. Yeah.
Yeah, that is good thinking. I agree. Resourceful.
She had to cross the driveway full of rocks to get
to He's like, why didn't you just put rocks on them? Because the Legos fit better.
Yeah, I mean, you can make them whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as I was saying, good thinking on the Legos, I was thinking in my head, I would have just grabbed rocks.
We have a whole driveway full of rocks. Didn't occur to me.
That's all right. It worked.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Talking about entrance reducers, man. Yesterday, I needed to make some, and like I've never bought one. Last year, I built all my bottom boards, and they basically just had a 3-inch entrance reducer built into them. Well, I kind of redid how I did everything and made the full opening. I was like, I need to make some entrance reducers. And I am not a woodworker by any means. And I tried to like copy this entrance reducer where it has like you flip it and it has the different sizes.
On one side it's the 1 inch and the other side.
Dude, I failed miserably the entire time.
He tried.
And then finally I'm just like, whatever. I'm just going to cut one that's 3 inches opening and one that's a 1/4 inch opening. Like I'll just have a bucket of each size.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was looking to like, I was like, I'll buy them if I really have to, but they're so expensive, like $4 for this little tiny piece of wood. And I'm like, no way. I can just buy an extra board, and that's with lumber prices through the roof. Like,
or you can use Legos.
That's true.
I love it.
Oh, that's funny. So. I always think, I guess maybe when I see robbing, I'll know for sure. But I always I'm setting up at the bee yard and there's just all this activity. I'm like, I wonder if is that robbing?
It's hard
I don't
to
know.
tell. Yeah, it's hard to. But
the more you see it, the more it stands.
I will never. I mean, forget that one.
Yeah, it looks similar to nectar flow from a distance, but it's very aggressive.
Yeah,
very,
you can. I mean,
it's like aggravated.
You look at it long enough. Yeah. I mean,
that's a word. I hate that word.
Ugh, me too. And they say that the robber bees they have like less like fur or something a lot of times, or they're like You've never heard that? Because they've like been in battle so much that they like are like more
Beat up.
rustic
Tough.
looking.
Mm.
Yeah, rough and tough.
Interesting.
So-
I always
Did too.
I thought a robber bee was just a forager bee that kind of found a honey hole per se.
I mean, it's probably one and the same, but she
Yeah.
just is a really tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Broad.
So do you guys have an end goal as far as the beekeeping goes? Like, do you have like this is
Yeah.
where we're going to stop, or
Yeah. I want to local pollinate and have one, be able to supply a tractor trailer load is my
Mhm.
Wow.
How many hives is a tractor trailer load?
400. So
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's
you
a
guys
lot.
going to do local pollination then? You're not going to like
well, yeah, I don't want to, I travel during the
Yeah,
other
that's true.
part of the year, so I don't want to go anywhere too far.
yeah.
There's a lot of around here too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
we've got blueberries down east and apples up north. There's plenty to do.
Watermelons and- yeah.
Pumpkins.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's probably plenty to pollinate, I'm sure.
yeah. So
And
that's
like I said, we've got buddies that run commercial outfits here, and
Yeah.
1,000 hives plus.
Yeah. And I don't know
I like-
that we mentioned it, but you guys are in North Carolina, correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
Because you said you worked in
Yeah.
South Carolina, but you guys live in North Carolina. Okay.
we live in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Just
drives.
in the
The
foothills.
plantation's like 4 hours away that he drives to back and forth a lot in
Yeah.
the winter. Yeah, I'd like to have a little store sometime, maybe.
What about you
Aw.
guys?
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I don't really know. I think
You want
I think 50 to 60 is my end goal while I'm still employed. I don't know that I can handle much more and work a full-time
lot.
job.
Yeah.
And we have 3 acres, or a little less than 3 acres, but all of it is hills.
Yeah. It's
So we don't
really-
really have a good place to put bees here. Like I've kind of utilized all the flat area, and I was trying to like dig in, like, dig a little spot to put a block and then make sure it's level. And it's just a
Yeah.
nightmare.
I thought about moving our nuke yard. We have like a holler, and it's
Mhm.
kind of round. And I've been thinking about moving our nuke yard to where it looks like right here outside the honey room, to get it out of the yard.
Oh yeah.
Just because
yeah.
we have birthday parties and things like
Yeah.
that, the bees are right,
Oh,
like
yeah.
right in
Yeah.
the yard where all the kids
Yeah.
are playing to get them moved over. But I thought about burying posts and building like a what do you call it, like stadium seating.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hives.
That are kind of like
Oh, that's
as
cool.
it steps down the hill, from
Yeah.
the
That'd be
hillside.
fun.
You could
Yeah.
set posts like 2x6s or something on it.
Yeah. If you can get them level, like it's okay, but it's working on them too, because like the hill that they're on now, it's a kind of an
Steep,
incline. So
yeah.
like you can feel it in your calves,
Oh,
like
God.
just standing kind of on a hill, like
Different kind of deal.
yeah. And then some of your hives, because the ground's so level, like one is really close to the ground and one's kind of high. Like
We do the best
Yeah.
with what we have.
yeah, like I'm making
Yeah.
it work the best I can. So I think the eventual goal is like we would have like a nuke yard here just to grow bees, and then we'll do out yards for honey. But I don't know that I can do more than probably 40 or 50 with working a full-time job.
Yeah.
Do it like you want to.
Yeah, because I mean I work probably, I don't know, sometimes 50, 60 hours a week. So coming home and doing this it's
Oh,
a lot.
gosh.
And then I'm on call every once in a while. So like,
It's hard.
yeah, it does. It makes it hard.
But eventually you would like to phase out of your job
yeah,
and make the bees your full-time job. So
Yeah,
that's the big goal.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the next couple of years. But at least that's our plan, hopefully.
yeah.
You are like your freelance.
Yep.
So
I do free
graphic design.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right. Freelance
Cool.
graphic design. So I have a number of different clients that I work with and do things for. And yeah, so that's something I enjoy doing and would like to
and you can do
continue
that
doing.
from home. So
Yeah, that's what I
nice.
do. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
got the kids with me and we have our
Yeah.
our normal
That's good.
routine where We do our
Yeah.
things at home. We're home all the time. So
Yeah.
it would be nice if he could be home with us and doing farm
Mhm.
things more often. Our kids are always like, oh, well, we need to work. That's why they were motivated also to work on setting up our little nuke yard, because they're like, well, if we do this and we build up our beehives, you can stay home with us,
Yeah.
Papa. And they're just the
Aw.
most sincere.
That's
Like,
so sweet.
our son wanted to give him like some money from his piggy bank to help
Yeah.
him with buying beekeeping supplies.
So
And
sweet.
yeah, it's very sweet.
We hang a couple swarm traps around here, like just in
Oh,
our
yeah.
property, and that's one of my son's responsibilities. He goes checks the swarm traps every day. So
Oh, good.
we actually set them up today, and he was like, "We got to catch bees, Papa, because if we get more bees, we get more honey, and then you can stay home with us."
Aw.
So I guess that's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
He summarized it for us.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. Like, I think even if it wouldn't turn into any kind of money making or a business, like, I just love bees. Like, it is the most relaxing thing I've ever done in my life.
And
Like,
it's so, because when you tell other people that aren't beekeepers or not working with bees, it's hard for them to understand how relaxing it can be because I was just talking to somebody the other day about how it's like therapeutic for me. And,
Mhm.
it helps with people with mental health issues. And, there's lots of organizations, that have beekeeping as therapy. And it's once you actually get in there and experience it, it's like you can't explain it to
an awful lot
others.
like bird hunting. It's tranquil, like something about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good word. It is very tranquil.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, I get up there and I'm just in my own little world. Like, life just slows down.
Yeah.
And, like, I really hate, and I mean hate, being hot. But like,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
but like, I'll put on my jacket and, like, besides the sweat running into my eyeballs, like, I don't think about being hot at the time. Like, yeah. But as soon as I'm done and I
You're
pull
about
off
to
my
pass
jacket
out.
and my shirt is like stuck to my body, it's like, oh, that's gross. Which is funny. You're talking about the being itchy. Like, I've tried to go wear my jacket without a shirt, and it's super itchy. Like, we have Provent from Man Lake, the triple mesh, and it is super itchy. So I understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. It's really exciting. I feel like I could sit here and talk about bees.
Yeah, I think every beekeeper feels that way. That you could talk about beekeeping and all the different parts to it.
But I feel like beekeepers don't really talk a whole lot like during the bee season, because everything is so busy. Like, once it hits, you're just kind of gone. And then in the wintertime, all you talk about is like, oh, I can't wait to see my bees again.
That's all you talk about. Yeah.
Our bird patches are another topic to dive into, because it's mixed with they've turned into like bee. The bees get nectar and pollen from it as well. We cover.
Like, tell them about the like, the plants will come in phases, like the way that you plant them.
We do like a mixture of seed in the drill, and here in a couple months, I guess we'll go into planting our sunflowers, millet, soybean, buckwheat. It's a mixture of things, so you have like the seasonal color. And
nice.
Like right now, let's crimson clover, and then the brassicas are turning yellow, and so on. But those winter crops get turned down into their summer crops, and those summer crops are supporting the bees, but also the birds, the quail throughout the year, for dog training.
So do you keep quails on your property? Quail?
Oh, yeah.
Is it quail? I don't know.
Quail.
Yeah.
It's like fish.
Quail.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you keep them on your property around? And how does that?
Yeah.
Not far away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We have like little moultrie feeders too, like little feed stations, and then we have two large bird patches. One's 8 acres, and the new one going to be probably like 6. But anyway, it's like little pollination spots. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it.
It's because
bit extra forage that they can get, early season. The Nebraska is a real nice early season plant for around here. Like rape, it's like rape and turnips and greens and mustards and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And crimson clover will come up through it after that.
And then in the strawberry patches,
sorry.
In between the strawberry patches, what did you plant?
Well, that happens in our garden too. The same thing.
Yeah, like the what is it? Rape seed comes up.
Well, it's just a cover crop, and there's wheat in it or barley or rye. You can mix any kind of. It's fertilizer. You're
right.
The cost of fertilizer this year is through.
Yeah.
I wish all farmers around here would do it. It'd be like so beneficial.
Cover crops and learning how to put those nutrients back into the soil instead of just always taking stuff out. And then you don't need to supplement with fertilizers. It just does what it's supposed to do.
Tune it to your soil type, but it's the diversity of plants going into the ground.
Well, I think we've about wrapped it up. So talking bees, and I feel like we should even do this again in the fall. We can kind of talk about
how things
went.
We should.
Things are working or not.
Something will work. So there'll be something good and something bad, I'm sure.
If anything, maybe we can sell everything we have.
You said you wanted 60 hives, didn't you?
Y'all enjoyed it. Appreciate it. I'm surprised that anybody has any interest in what we're doing.
It's so interesting.
I feel like there's probably even way more layers under this onion too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys sound like really, really fun people.
You guys do too.
Oh, thank you.
We need to have a convention with all of our friends.
Yeah.
All of our bee friends sometime.
That would be fun.
A big Instagram meetup.
Party.
Yes. Bee party.
A bee party. Yeah, there we go.
Well,
our kids aren't even.
That's another layer.
Yeah. they're at sleepover.
Oh.
A party. All of our friends have kids and we're busy.
Yeah. A big party would be fun. I know where someone I just heard knows about like 600,000 acres that we could have a big party on.
Come on, let's go. Yeah. You bring the bees.
I'm in the burn.
Oh, the burn.
All right, we'll enjoy it.
Thank you for
taking interest in us.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Just one thing before we go. If you had a word of advice for anyone that was wanting to get into beekeeping, what do you think it would be?
For me, at least, the first year was lots of things to be learned, and even about yourself, not even about the bees, and about, and if you're working with somebody, you learn about each other. I mean, we've been married almost 10 years, and I feel like you continue to learn about each other. And we learned, a lot through a lot of things.
How to take orders, how to give orders.
Communication.
Learning styles. So like, he's like really, really OCD, which you kind of have to be when you have bees. And I'm like pretty much ADD. So I'm like a million miles a minute everywhere else. And he's telling me something. And anyway, it's easy for people to get discouraged, but just to not give up, because that's just part of beekeeping, is you make tons of mistakes. So, and I still make mistakes.
Yeah. And speaking of OCD, can I answer in the fall? Because I'm not really prepared to answer. Complex.
You'll have a dissertation on it.
Yeah.
There are some people that are just thinkers, and
he's a thinker for
sure.
He
is too.
A lot of variables.
Go ahead.
I would say if you're trying to do it as a business interest, just take away with it with the time you've got. Don't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yep. Just start one step at a time and work your way up.
Well, Josh and Mary, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
All right, it was good chatting with you. Thank you.
Yeah. See you later.
I really hope you enjoyed that episode with Josh and Mary from Bees and Bird Dogs. Definitely check them out. We will put all their links in the show notes. If you have any beekeeping questions, feel free to reach out to either us or Josh and Mary. And until next time, happy homesteading.
Thanks so much for joining us today. If you wouldn't mind subscribing and giving us a rating so that other people can find our podcast, that would be wonderful. Also, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, our website, rockbridgefarmstead.com, or find our Etsy shop under Rockbridge Farmstead.